here I am back in the man cave with Bruce. I'll turn the camera around in a second and show you him. This is our video finishing off our review of the HIKMICRO Panther PQ50L. So this is the top of the range Panther thermal scope, which is basically a Thunder TQ50C, but with the added laser rangefinder incorporated on the top of the body and displaying on screen, and takes 18650 batteries now as well. Hi Bruce.
Hi Ross, how you doing? How's everybody doing?
Near bad, thanks. Near bad. Yourself?
Oh, fine. Been having good fun with the Panther.
Excellent, excellent. So you've had it out on your rimmies?
I've had it on 3 different rifles, and I've also had it rigged up as a roof-mounted spotter as well. I had it on my pt.2 rimfire. I had it on a CZ17 HMR and on a CZ22 Hornet.
Yep.
Shot some bunnies with that. I think we've got a video with some of that stuff on it.
I downloaded your video this morning, yep, so I've got that.
I also used it as a roof-mounted spotter, mounted up on this little battery-operated pan and tilt unit. That just screws into the screw plate on there, goes into there, and you could just have it, had a magnet on the bottom.
Yep.
Stuck it in the car, that was on there. This remote control operates the pan and tilt, and with the Wi-Fi on, I was streaming the video to a tablet in the car.
Yep.
And the HIKMICRO site app allowed me, whilst watching the video, I could also change the contrast, the brightness, the palettes, the zoom, and I could actually also hit the button to make it range find from the tablet as well, which
Brilliant.
is quite clever.
That's brilliant.
I've not seen that feature before.
So it was full remote control.
It's full remote control. Other than focus, I had full remote control. Okay, of those functions, I couldn't go into change reticles and stuff like that. But
yeah.
But the stuff you would want to do,
yeah,
I could do. So it worked pretty well. There wasn't really any lag. It was a wee bit glitchy at times. Occasionally the image would kind of freeze up for maybe a second or a couple of seconds, and then it would come back, it would jump back on again. But overall, it wasn't bad. I wouldn't complain about it. Perfectly usable solution for a roof-mounted spotter without any wires at all.
Excellent.
Which is what I was trying to get to.
Right.
As a scope, it's good. The image is exactly the same as my own TQ50. It's my TQ50 with the extended battery housing. That's a HIKMICRO Thunder TQ50.
Right.
This is a Panther PQ50L.
Yeah.
Same lens, same sensor, same display, basically the same image.
Right.
But obviously the Panther has a different battery housing and it has the built-in laser rangefinder.
Yeah.
Laser rangefinder's good. It's good. You can run it in 2 different modes. You can do basically a single shot, which is where you aim the box at the target, hit the button, and it gives you a range.
Yeah.
Or you can have it in continuous scanning mode, where it scans for about maybe 10 to 15 seconds.
Yeah, I think I counted 12 or 13 seconds.
Yeah.
After I did my little teaser video on the Panther PQ50L, which is already online on my channel, I gave them some feedback that I would prefer to see it at something like 30 seconds at least.
Yes, I would agree with that. I would also like some method of knowing when it's actually ranging.
Right.
Because the display, the distance display, has either got 3 white bars, 3 red bars, or a number.
Yeah.
And if you're getting a range, it's going to give you a number.
Yeah.
But quite often, I've hit the rangefinder button, put the box onto a target, and I'm getting nothing.
Right. And you're wondering...
Sometimes if I then press the button again, thinking, oh, I haven't pressed start the ranging, I get these three red bars, which I really don't know what they mean. But
I think that means an error. I think it means it's an error in ranging.
I think so. So the rangefinder works. It doesn't scan for long enough. It doesn't tell you when it stopped and started scanning.
No.
Which would be a good thing.
A little blinking icon to say...
Something to tell you I'm actively ranging, because it's not like when we do it with the PAR where you can actually see the flash.
Yes.
Having said that, the alignment of the flash with the box on the screen is spot on.
Brilliant. If I just zoom in, then a bit like the PAR 008S LRF, which we're just reviewing as well, you can see at the top of this lens, the LRF main lens is the receiver, and the little tiny lens at the top there is the transmitter, and the two are pretty well aligned, which is brilliant.
But obviously, you don't see the flash with this. You could do it using a night vision device, but what I did was I set this up on the plate, arranged to the roof line, my famous 100-metre roof line, and watched to see when the range changed from 100 metres or 90 metres up to the much higher distance to the trees, and it was bang in line with the roof line, and then did a vertical angle, a vertical edge as well.
Yeah.
So in both cases, the distance was reading exactly correct when the target box was at the target.
That's
so
brilliant.
I'm happy that it's
so the two correlate perfectly.
Yeah,
brilliant.
Yeah. There's no way to adjust the laser in here like there is with the PAR.
No.
And there's nothing in the manual to tell you how to move the box. I can imagine there's probably some secret software routine that would allow you to link, because they're going to do that when they build these things.
Yeah.
But certainly in this case, there's no misalignment whatsoever.
Right.
I'm more than happy with that.
Brilliant.
Okay.
So I downloaded your pest control video, which I'll either put at the end of this video or I'll have as a little separate addendum. But I noticed you start to line up your crosshairs on each rabbit, and then you think, oh, hang on, I've got the LRF.
That's because I was thinking of you, Russell. Thinking of Russell will want to see this in the video of me arranging this rabbit. I just want to shoot. I just want to shoot the rabbit.
Yeah. So every time I saw you there, I thought Bruce is going to be thinking, oh, Russ wants the range. So
there's a couple of rabbits I shoot on that video with the 2.2. The 2.2 I had set the 0 at 60 yards.
Yeah.
And I used the trajectory function to set up another subtension at 80 and another subtension at 100.
Right.
Unfortunately, the subtensions don't show up on the video because there's two rabbits I shoot. One it's at 60, bang on, and one at 80. And if you look at the video, you can see the centre of the reticle is a little bit higher up.
Yeah.
Because I'm using the second subtension.
Yes.
And I head shoot it.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, it doesn't show up in the video. But I like that trajectory function. I think it's great.
Yeah.
I'll probably put a little zeroing session footage in part 3 of this video series, but I'll just include a few snaps here. This is a through the eyepiece snap taken with a mobile phone, and you can see 3 small stadia subtensions in the vertical stadia just beneath the horizontal stadia, beneath the crosshairs basically. I'm looking at 37 meters and it's on 2 times zoom, which is important, because on this second image you can see it's at 4 times zoom, and although I've got a rubbish background, the idea is to show you that it's first focal plane with the subtensions, and as you zoom in, the subtensions you've created move further apart. So here the main 0 is 30 meters with a 177 non-FAC air rifle. This is the Zabroya Kozak I've been reviewing, which I'll shortly be uploading a video of. So 30 meters for the main crosshair. Just slightly underneath that is 35 meters, just beyond it. And the one below that is for 16 meters, if I remember rightly. And the one below that is for 12 meters. But you can set up several of these. And interestingly, you don't name that. There's nothing on the screen here you can see saying A, B or C for the subtensions. But when you create them, you give them a distance marker. And I wonder if this is HIKMICRO programmers being halfway to having a ballistic calculator function. Hopefully they will, but on with the man cave video.
I suppose we could argue that having just looked at a new PAR 08 SLRF with a ballistic calculator, Hike could put a ballistic calculator in here.
That's what I would love to see. If I won the lottery, I would want one of these Panther PQ50Ls from HIKMICRO, but I would want the ballistic calculator function.
Well, they have every. Well, I mean,
they've got all the ingredients, haven't they?
Yeah, I think it's a firmware upgrade basically.
Yeah.
Really, it's the equations that are needed to calculate the drops. I would have thought that it would be not too difficult. I mean,
no.
PAR have managed to do it. ATN have been doing it for years.
Yeah.
If they put a ballistic calculator in here, I think that would greatly improve the sellability of the product.
Yeah.
The video function is a bit odd. You've got to press 2 buttons together.
That's right, yeah. I found that when I was...
strange.
I found that a bit odd. So if I can zoom in on the controls. So we have the on-off button, which is the front one.
The laser button, which you press to range.
So that's one press for the laser rangefinder. And I think it's a longer press for the photo, isn't it? If you want to take a photo.
I believe it is, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think I took photos of the long press of the middle button.
Okay.
And then this is a press and twist. So this is your rotary control dial.
That's your rotary control. And when you're not in the menu function, normally that then changes your zoom level.
Yeah.
And pressing the button changes the palette, changes the colour.
Right.
Long press on that button gets you into the menu.
Yeah. And then, as you say, it's both of these buttons together.
These together to record.
To start and stop recording.
Yeah, that's right. Which is a bit of a fiddle, I must admit. You know, it's a little bit fiddly.
Just took you a little bit getting used to it, yeah.
Aye, but I mean, because I'm not big in recording anyway. But I found that a little bit fiddly. I like the wheel for changing the magnification, easier than the buttons on my TQ50.
Right.
Which is a button. I'll be honest with you and say I'm not sure about the longevity of this thing. This is an encoder. This is, you can hear it clicking. It's clearly an encoder. This isn't a stop.
Right.
I'm not sure how long that's going to last compared to some others that I've touched. It feels maybe a little bit flimsy. I might be wrong. I hope I'm wrong.
Yeah.
But it does feel a little bit on the flimsy side.
Okay, cool.
Having said that, everything worked.
Right.
Everything worked. One thing I did notice was when I was taking some of those videos that a couple of times when the battery indicator dropped down to one bar, when I tried to range, the display shut off.
Right.
Clearly, the laser was taking a bit more power than the battery wanted to give.
Yeah.
The voltage was dropping. Now, when I pressed the power button, everything came back on immediately and it was still recording.
Yeah.
So I can only assume that it really did, it kind of almost dropped it into sleep mode.
Right.
As opposed to switching it off.
Yeah.
But there was still 1 bar shown in the battery at that point.
Right, okay.
Whereas with the Thunder, you get right down to 0 bars and you get a low battery warning.
Right. Okay.
I have not seen a low battery warning with this. It maybe has one, but certainly pressing the range button when the battery was down to 1 bar was causing it to the display to switch off.
Brilliant. Okay, so quality of the image is good.
The quality is exactly the same as the Micro Thunder. Excellent, terrific image. I really do like the image.
Yeah.
So it should be. It's the same lens, same sensor, same display.
Yeah.
And the processing electronics are clearly the same.
Yeah.
You've just got the added functions of the rangefinder.
Yeah.
And obviously the bigger battery, which is handy. Although I've kind of done a wee modification in mine to give me.
Yes. I featured that in that.
We did speak about that.
Yeah,
before.
video before. So there's already a video online about that.
For me, it's not really a moan, but that costs £3,000 retail. That costs $3,900 retail.
Yeah.
And what you're paying £900 for is a different battery and a rangefinder. That's a lot of money.
Right.
For a range. But for me, the saving grace here is that there are 4 models of Panther in this range.
Yeah.
There are 2 384 sensor models and 2 640 sensor models.
Yeah.
2 35mm lens models and 2 50mm lens models.
Yeah.
This being the very top of the range. 640 sensor, 50mm lens. If you go at the bottom of the range, the HIKMICRO which is a 384 sensor, still 12 micron, and a 35mm lens, still has a rangefinder, all the same functions. That costs 2490.
Right.
£2,500.
Yeah.
Right, which is £1,000 less than this model.
Yeah.
But I think that 35L would be the best bang for your buck for somebody shooting sub 12 and rimfire.
And for me, FAC air rifle.
And FAC air rifle.
Right.
You don't need the extra legs detection range that this has.
If you're shooting shorter range.
Shorter range, and to be honest, there aren't many thermal scopes with built-in rangefinders available.
Yeah.
Right, I did a quick look through. The top of the range, as you might say, would be the Pulsar Thermion 2 XP50 Pro, right, which is a 17 micron 640 sensor, 50mm lens, with a built-in rangefinder, almost £5,000, 4,980, and that's a big heavy lump of scope. It's 1 kilogram.
Right.
This thing weighs 3/4 kilogram. It's quarter kilogram less. The only other scope that kind of comes near to that is the ATN. I don't even believe I'm saying the word ATN, but never mind. ATN Mars with the external ABL rangefinder, which you bolt onto the side, which then does have the ballistic calculator. But that ATN Mars with the ballistic calculator would be £4,500.
Right.
And it weighs 1.36 kilos. It's a serious lump of kit.
That's a lot of weight.
It's a lot of weight. So if you wanted a nice lightweight thermal setup with rangefinder on a 2.2 or a sub 12 air rifle, then for me the PH35L, the bottom of the range model here at £2,500, is a steal.
Yeah. Okay.
Is a steal, considering you'd probably get some discount off of that as well.
Yeah.
So for my money, nothing would come close to that. Thermal scope with a rangefinder for that money, that's good.
Yeah. So the advantage of this being the full 640 by 512 for you is longer range for you foxing.
Yeah, that's right. The combination, well, it's the detection range only depends on the pixel size, which is the same in all four models, and the focal length of the lens. But with the 640 sensor and the 50mm lens, you get all the detail plus a wide field of view.
Right.
Which means that you're able to pick up your target more easily. If you went, for example, for the PH50L,
right,
which is the 384 sensor and the 50mm lens.
So that's 384 by 288.
Yeah. And a 50mm, it's going to have higher magnification in this. It's going to have the same detection range, but it's going to have a narrower field of view.
Right.
So it's going to have it might not be a problem, but you know, and the that one comes in at, what do I say, 2850. So I mean, that if you couldn't stretch to 3.9 for this one, the 2850 for the PH50L, that could be a perfectly good Fox and scope as well, and you'd have the rangefinder. So I think Hike are doing the right thing here. They've given 4 models in the range, all with the rangefinder. Price difference from the top of the range to the bottom range is almost like £1,500, depending on the lens you choose and the sensor you choose.
Yeah.
So that's a good range of options for potential buyers, covering a wide range of shooting styles and types.
Right.
You know. So overall, yep, I'm pretty impressed with it. If I hadn't already had one of these, I might have been tempted.
Right. Okay.
But I've got one of these, and the extra price doesn't get me really for anything I absolutely must have.
Well, your foxing rifle is so flat shooting that you don't need to know the range, really, do you?
I don't. The range is not that big a deal when you're shooting a fast flat bullet. So but certainly for the guys shooting 2.2 rimfire sub 12, the rangefinder is a major benefit.
Me,
and that's why I'm saying for me the bottom of the range model in this Panther range is the best value for money, because you don't need that extra detection range, all that you get with the bigger lens and the bigger sensor, and you're getting something for what I would say is a really good.
It's £1,000 less, isn't it?
£1,000 less, yeah.
Yeah. Brilliant. We just want to go through. For me, there's one shortfall of both of these. It's a tiny little shortfall, but for me as a YouTuber, neither of them records sound, so that's a slight hiccup. Although there might be an option, I believe, whereby if you use the app, then presumably the phone you're using the app with could record the sound.
I would say so. Yeah. If you're looking at the video image from the HIK on a phone or a tablet that's got a microphone, then you could record commentary to the stream video you're looking at.
I think the app can do that if you're recording via the app on the phone, yeah.
When you use the app, you can take still images and you can take video, but I think all you're doing is sending a command to this to record or take images the way that you would do by pressing buttons.
Yeah.
Any sound would have to be recorded onto the tablet. How you would then get...
I think the app might do that. I think the app might... I might be wrong, but I think...
Don't know.
From reading one or two things on forums, I think the app might superimpose the sound that the device adds to it.
Okay.
But the other thing is, one complaint we still have, a little complaint, is that this rail that mounts either the Thunder TQ50C, or the Panther PQ50L, it's the same rail.
Yeah,
and you can see
on the Panther they have this little cutout to match the bottom of the battery housing.
Yeah.
And on the Panther, which doesn't use that, they're still using the same rail.
Yeah. So our wish for this
would be to extend this rail a bit.
Yeah. So if that rail was 1 inch or 2 inches longer, and let's say, looking at this, if you had an extra longer rail with an extra hole here with a corresponding cutout, or two extra holes with two corresponding cutouts, that would be the best deal. Yeah, because best deal for us.
All 3 rifles I had this mounted on have got extended Picatinny rails.
Right.
And you needed to bring it back almost the back end of those rails to get the eye relief.
Right. So you needed the extra reach back.
Yeah, a standard Picatinny rail that doesn't come back behind the action, your head's going to be right forward. You're going to struggle. You need it back.
Yeah, so we need this to be more of a reach back.
Yeah.
Either 1 extra hole or 2 extra holes with the corresponding cutout if you're using the Thunder.
However, HIK have addressed the issue by releasing the Stellar, which is the tube version of this.
Right. Okay.
So you're not going to have 3. You're not going to have 3 HIKs with the same sensor, the same lens, the same display. You got the Thunder, that one. You got the Panther, that one, and you're going to have the Stellar in the middle, which is a tube style. And I believe for the equivalent version, which is the 50mm lens and the 640 sensor, the Stellar, I think it's called the SQ50, is $3,500.
Right, so price-wise, it's between the two.
Yeah, so you've got £3,000 for the Thunder, 3.5 for the Stellar, which is a tube style, and 3.9 for the Panther, which has got the rangefinder.
Right.
Some people will like the Stellar simply because it's a tube style.
Yeah.
That's becoming more popular. I think the other big thing with the Stellar is it's got 2 inbuilt batteries, which is giving, from what I'm hearing, somewhere between 10 and 14 hours battery life. Right. Plus the option to unscrew the elevation cap and drop in a single CR123 battery. It'll give you an additional 1 hour emergency power. Right. Of course, you can run it from a power bank as well. Yeah. So I actually do have a Stellar coming to test. Thank you, Ian Blackwood. He's going to send me one to try, and we'll have a look at that one as well. Brilliant. Because as I say, as a few people I've spoken to recently who have said, "Oh, I wouldn't have one of these scopes that have got this horrible thing here. I don't like stuff hanging off the back of the rail. I want something that mounts on my rail and I can use my existing 30mm rings with." Yeah. I don't have an issue with that. Some people do. Isn't it? Yeah. Some people do, and I think the popularity of things like the Thermions has made that possible. So I think IRI have gone the same way with the TH50. I think HIK have simply done what they think the market wants. And by all reports, the Stellar it's a well-built bit of kit. It seems to be quite a good bit of kit, so we'll have a look at that. The image will be the same. Yeah. The image will be the same. The setup will be different because it's a tube style. The controls will be slightly different. Yeah. But essentially the image is going to be the same. And it won't have the LRF. It won't have an LRF. That the Panther's got. No. The other thing, they'll probably, with a bit of luck, they might get rid of this horrible bloody lens cap. Right. And of course, on this one, you don't want the lens cap like that. Yeah. Otherwise, you won't be getting any ranges. Yeah, it blocks the range, yeah. Okay. In fact, a friend of mine broke the lens cap on his. Oh, right. Okay. Broke it right off here. He found that the plastic cap from an aerosol spray can is a perfect fit on the end of it. Right, okay. Heath Robinson wins. Heath Robinson for the win. Yeah, brilliant. So okay. Thanks very much to the team at HIKMICRO for lending us this excellent Panther PQ50L scope. It's one outstanding piece of kit, and thanks very much, Bruce, for your opinion and your feedback, and for your video clip. So what I'm going to do, this is going to be 20 minutes, so what I'm going to do is I'll do an addendum video separate to this, which will include a bunch of footage that I've got using the PQ50L as a handheld spotter and a rifle mounted spotter on a few permissions, mainly looking at rabbits out to some considerable ranges. I really was spotting rabbits up to 550 metres with this. And then the video that Bruce has sent me, kindly edited and sent through with the pest control, that will be the second half of this video. So we've got part 2 here is the man cave video, and then I'll do part 3 will be spotter footage and pest control. But anyway, thanks again, HIKMICRO. Yep, for lending us excellent kit. Thank you very much for that. You've been very patient with us. Yes, and thanks very much, Bruce. No problem. Cheers. Thanks, Bruce. And we'll see you all again soon. It was a pleasure working with this thing. Excellent. That's a good sign.